Queen also had to rise from her grave because of anger at Harry's insult in his memoir. Prince Harry adored the Queen, but there's a key element in his new memoir that paints her in a less than flattering light. Hello, and a very warm welcome back to our Kate Middleton and the Queen News YouTube channel. After having read all 416 pages of Harry's ridiculous, often very boring, and very self-indulgent memoir Spare, I can say that he sure does appreciate a nickname. I mean, the bee, the fly, the wasp, the thumb, Markle, Rehabber Cooks, Nige the Ninja. Harry sure did include a lot of them, and I suspect that's because he does not want to find himself on the wrong end of some kind of defamation suit or court case. Now, in Harry's world, there are good people and there are bad people. There are people who can do no wrong, like his girlfriend Chelsea, his adopted African family of couple Tej and Mike, and now, of course, his wife Meghan Markle. And then there are people who can do nothing right, according to Harry. Queen Camilla is this wicked witch, according to him, willing to sacrifice Harry and Prince William in a quest to get some wins on the tabloid press, and also to win over the masses. Harry portrays his own father as being very cold and detached, and his brother Prince William is so jealous of Harry, and he's very petty too. But there is one thing that has surprised many people: Harry's less than flattering portrayal of his own grandmother, the Queen, and her palace operation. This is some tricky territory because it is obvious that Harry really loved her and he did respect her. A lot of Spare is written in the present tense, and that's when the sovereign was still living and before she passed away in September of 2022. In Spare, Harry does what he has been trying to do for quite a long time now unsuccessfully, which is try to separate his grandmother from the firm. And the line has typically been something like this: she was this lovely old lady he absolutely adored, but they, on the other hand, are mercenaries / palace string pullers, and they are operating according to some kind of unspecified agenda. And therein lies the problem. See, by criticizing the institution, doesn't that mean that Harry is also criticizing to some degree the woman who ran the show for an amazing 70 years? I mean, how can Harry consider his many issues with the firm while also believing that these issues don't reflect poorly on the late Queen? Over and over again, courtiers, particularly those Harry refers to as the fly, the bee, and the wasp, are portrayed as being either willfully obstructionist or absolutely derelict in their duty. Let's just take a little moment to pause here. Suggesting that the late Queen was being taken advantage of by usurpers is not only disrespectful, but also diminishing. And it also echoes what Harry said to American morning TV host Hoda Kotb a while back, that he had gone to visit the late Queen in April last year to make sure that she was protected and has the right people around her. And according to Spare, it is all these top aides who prove, depending on how you view it, to be either willfully obstructionist or absolutely derelict in their duty to support Meghan and Harry, as press criticism came to a head in 2019. In October of 2019, Meghan and Harry filed a privacy case lawsuit against the Daily Mail, and that was while they were on a very successful tour of Southern Africa. While they were back in London, Harry was summoned to Buckingham Palace to have a meeting with his grandmother and his father, and the message was coming through a terse email from the Bee. And then we get to the lead-up of Megxit in January of 2020. So as Meghan and Harry fly in from Canada, where they had been vacationing in a borrowed mansion that looked like it came straight out of Real Housewives, they are told that the Queen can no longer see them right away. And it's not really clear what exactly Harry is trying to suggest here. That the Queen was not being straight with him or that she's being manipulated by the Bee, I don't really know. But again, either way, it is not flattering. And then we get to the events of the Sandringham Summit that was attended by the Bee and the Wasp, where 5 options for Meghan and Harry are laid out. And then Harry claims that he was immediately presented with a draft of a statement the palace would soon be releasing, announcing that Meghan and Harry would be completely leaving working royal life. Harry writes about what he thought about at that moment. He writes, "I'm confused. You've already drafted a statement before any discussion?" So in other words, the fix was in this whole time. This summit was just for show. And does Harry really say who may have put the fix in? Well, absolutely not. Harry also goes after the late Queen's confidant, Angela Kelly. He described her as a troublemaker. He says among the many services she performed for Granny, she was said to be skilled at planting stories. So is Harry implying that the late Queen sometimes planted stories too? There are a lot of problems with Harry's book, and one big problem is this. Harry may be going after the people surrounding his late grandmother, but what does he think that says about her that she surrounded herself with people like that? This is the contradictory, ridiculous part of the book. Harry's attempt to denounce the inner mechanics of the monarchy, but at the same time trying to make sure that none of that criticism gets anywhere close to his adored late grandmother. Considering that it would seem much of Spare was written while the late Queen was still living, I do wonder what she would have made of her grandson's tale of woe and of palace failures. Now the Queen may be remembered for her steadfastness, her unwavering sense of duty, and her commitment to the crown, but still, if there's one big takeaway from Spare, it is tragically what an irretrievably dysfunctional family and family business she left behind. Well, according to Harry at least. But I do wonder what he would say if somebody approached him and told him both his father and his brother felt the same way as he did, that they would love Harry to come back. Harry doesn't have any idea about the way in which he has changed since he met Meghan, and it's sure not for the better. Dishonest, vindictive, traitorous, underhanded, mean, self-absorbed, and self-centered and disagreeable, and obsessed with money in the same way that evil Meghan Markle is. Before Meghan, however ugly he may have been underneath it all, he was still funny. He showed enjoyment in his life. The world considered him to be this cheeky guy whose early misdemeanors were behind him. But now, Harry's just very short-sighted in his attitude towards everybody in his family. He still believes that he and Meghan are right and everybody else is wrong. Is he ever going to wake up and see the reality of things? Is he ever going to get sufficient capacity for self-analysis so that he can take a long look at himself in the mirror and figure out who he has really become? Or is he going to remain under Meghan's spell? Is he going to remain brainwashed? And what about Meghan? Is she going to keep up her attacks indefinitely? Or eventually will the media say that enough is enough? We don't want to hear any more from you. Now, of course, the family does want Harry back, but they want the old Harry. They do not want this new rendition. And you, please let us know what you think about Harry and Meghan below in the comments section. And don't be afraid to like and share my video with anybody else who would enjoy it if you preferred our video this evening. Besides that, please support us more and more by subscribing to Kate Middleton and the Queen News team. Now thank you so much for tuning in, goodbye, and I'll be back to see you all tonight.